Hello friends, how are you doing today? You're probably better than me because I just recorded this whole video and like this much of my face is shown. So that's what I get for not checking more. Anyway, hello, how are you? Welcome to March. Welcome to middle grade March. Are you as excited as I am? I hope so. I love middle grade. I love the ladies that host it, Krista over at Books and Jams and Katie over at Life Between Words. And I'm pretty much hoping to only have a middle grade month. There'll be some other things thrown in, but yes, focusing on all the middle grade, and I am so very excited about it. So there are 5 prompts to follow if you so choose, if you're feeling, like you want to read all the middle grade, and I have pretty much found books that fit all of them. Some are a little bit of a more, a little bit of a force, but it's my TBR, so it's totally fine. So the first challenge is a book set in another country, and for that I have picked the very beloved The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. This was a Newbery Honor book, so that's always lovely. Kimberly Brubaker Bradley is a very popular author, and I believe she's quite prolific in her middle grade writing, and this I definitely think is one of her most beloved books. It is a duology, and it's set in England, so that's the other country it's set in, during World War II, I believe. And we're following our protagonist who has a club foot, and her mother is quite abusive, is quite terrible to her, and kind of hides her away from the world. And the war has come to England, and all of the kids are leaving and going to the countryside, and her mother is not going to let Ada, I believe that's the protagonist's name, go, and she's going to keep her at home. Somehow Ada escapes and is able to go with her young brother to the countryside, and they end up at a woman's house who was not planning to take any children in. And I think there's a lot of healing and redemption in this story, and how they all kind of need one another. I work in the child welfare system, so I work with a lot of kids who have been through trauma. And there seems to be a lot of trauma in this book, obviously with the young girl and her abusive mother, but also of the woman who takes them in. So I'm very excited to see how Kimberly Brubaker Bradley deals with this topic, also the trauma of war. There's just a lot of things going on in this book, so I'm interested to see how she handles it for like a middle grade age group. Also, there's another one if I enjoy this one, which I absolutely plan to. It's very beloved, as I said. This is the first selection, a BookTube darling, if you will. So very excited about that one. Challenge number 2 is a book to screen adaptation. For that, I plan to listen to A Little Princess on audiobook, and I am going to show you the terrible cover on Hoopla for this book. I mean, it's just awful. And then I'm going to show you the beautiful cover that I will be thinking about as I read this book, because oh my gosh, like I cannot think of a cover that I dislike the most and then also like love the most. So just wanted to show you those little, just like marketing. Why? I believe that I read this book as a child, or at least attempted to read this book as a child. So I'm very much looking forward to my experience with it as an adult. If I love it, then I'm going to buy this beautiful Puffin and Bloom edition, because my goodness, is it not just glorious. This book, I really don't know what it's about. I believe a child who goes to boarding school and is wealthy and then isn't wealthy anymore, and I don't know. But it's a classic, and I'm excited to listen to it on audiobook and maybe watch an adaptation of it. If there's one that you like, let me know and we'll see. So sorry that was nondescript, but we're going into that one a little bit blind. And then the next audiobook I plan to pick up in the month of March is Anne of the Island. I plan to jump on the Anne-along read-along for the rest of 2020. I didn't join in the first 2 months just because I had recently read those books and didn't want to reread them so soon. I think I will eventually, but wasn't planning on it so soon to my first reading. But I'm very excited to hopefully continue on with the readathon for the rest of the subsequent months. And yes, I am very, very excited to continue on with this Anne story. I know the first one's technically middle grade. I don't think these latter books count as middle grade, probably more like YA, but that's okay. We'll throw her in. I read Anne of Green Gables last year during middle grade March, and it was a lovely experience. So it feels very appropriate to continue on with the series starting in March. I will even put a little picture of my sweet babe after I finish the book. He was very tiny, not so tiny anymore, but look at that, just so sweet. But yes, I'm very excited to continue on with Anne. All right, back to the middle grade. The next category is mystery books. Neither of these are marketed as like straight up detective-y mysteries, but they definitely have strong themes of mysteries running through them. Or plot devices, however you say it. The first one being Wonder Smith, The Calling of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the second in the Nevermore series, and guys, my husband went and picked up all my holds from the library, and he's like, don't you own this book? And no, I've just had it out so many times from the library. My husband thinks it's a permanent book on my shelf. So I have tried to read this book. I loved the first one. I was really enjoying this one. I don't know what happened, but there's just been some block for me for continuing on with this series. But I got about halfway through, and I know there is a strong mystery line running through this book. So I adore this. There's the chosen child trope. There is a magical school, a magical world, quirky characters, magical beings. I mean, it's everything that you could want. So if I don't get through this book this middle grade March, I will be so disappointed with myself. So hold me accountable, internet. I need to continue on with this series, and I know the next book is coming out this fall, and I want to be ready for it, at least by next middle grade March. So yes, Wonder Smith. I'm gonna read it. 2020, it's happening. The next book I put in this category is Moon Over Manifest by Claire Vanderpool. This is a recent buy for me. It's a Newbery Medal Award book. This is set in the Midwest. I honestly don't know a lot about it, so that kind of puts it in this mysterious category because it's a mystery to me. But I also feel like there is a mystery aspect to this book. It gives me very much like Because of When Dixie vibes, a girl trying to find more about her parents. I'm excited. I haven't heard a lot of talk about this book. That also is a little mysterious as well. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm excited to tick it off my middle grade March list. All right, the next category is a book with illustrations, and for that I picked Kate DiCamillo's The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. On the back it says, a lyrical odyssey from America's beloved storyteller. If that doesn't make you want to pick the book up, I don't know what will. But this little bunny, I believe his name is Edward Tulane, he ends up lost, and I think it's his journey home, maybe? I don't know, but there are lovely illustrations all throughout. I think this one will be a rather quick read. If you can kind of see the very few words to a page and lots of pictures smattered in there. So yes, I am excited to try some more Kate DiCamillo. I read Because of When Dixie as a child and loved it, and speaking of that, I'm rereading it right now as the read aloud for my family, and this is for my book about stories category. That's what this book's going into. Like I said, I read this as a child, and it was one of my most beloved, most favorite books. This also has an adaptation, so it could go up in the book to movie adaptation category as well. But yes, this is our read aloud right now. My husband never read it, and he is adoring it. He's like laughed out loud a couple times, which like nothing warms your heart more than that. Judah won't remember this first reading of it, but he's getting the words in his ears. This book follows Opal and her father, who she lovingly refers to as the preacher, and her found dog that she names Winn-Dixie because of the grocery store that she finds him in. And it's really the story of how this family, but really this town, needed Winn-Dixie. Why I picked this for the book about stories is because Opal's mother left their family when she was a young child, maybe 3, I think. She's now turned 10, and she's asked her father to tell her 10 things about her mother, and one of the things is that her mother loves stories, especially if they were funny stories. and that's definitely a theme running through this. Opal kind of learning about other people's stories, about her mom's story, about her own story, and so yes, I felt like that fit perfectly into this category. But yes, this is a sad, battered edition from the library. It's like, it looks like when Dixie got a hold of it. All right, and then two books that will be finished in March because I'm currently in the middle of them. The first is my audiobook, The Child Finder by Renee Dinfield. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I'm enjoying it. It's okay. Not my favorite book by any means. Will probably be a 3-star. But I will tell you more about my thoughts and feelings in my March wrap-up. And then All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I am almost halfway through and I'm adoring this. There's something that his writing feels so otherworldly, so magical, but also so modern. Like, I think his writing feels like good historical fiction movies make me feel. That makes sense. But this is a World War II historical fiction. We're following really two main characters who have grown up about the same age, a boy from Germany and a girl from France. So, but we're getting lots of different perspectives interwoven. Anthony Doerr has written a short story collection that I have on my shelf, and I can see him being a really good short story writer. Just the way he's writing this, I can see that he does that masterfully. Yes, I will give you more thoughts, but this is my book club pick for the month of March, and I'm adoring it. I'm so excited. This book would have sat on my shelf way too long, and I understand the hype. It's so lovely. So those are all the books that I plan to read in March. What do you plan to read? What middle grade are you picking up? I would love to chat about it with you down in the comments below. Let's talk all the books in all the middle grade. All right, friends, I have nothing else to say to you. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I will see you in another video relatively soon, which will probably be my February wrap-up. So stay tuned. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye. It is cold brew coffee season, fast approaching, and I'm so ready. So ready.